Welcome back to the channel once again with your boy Base the Kid. Alright, so I've been a little bit inactive this week. It's been a very draining week, to be honest. Last week was very similar. I'm not even really gone to the gym much, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm not at the full capacity, but we got another round of basis picks. Now I'm hoping this actually comes out prior to the Marcus Brown and Artur Beterbiev fight, but if it doesn't, not too much issue. My prediction is Artur Beterbiev to win by knockout. I haven't put rounds on it, but I'm saying between 7 and 8, maximum I think 9. I mean, it could end quicker than that, but that's what I'm gonna give it. I think, yeah, round 7, round 8. So I'll say 8 to kind of just be in the middle. I'm not gonna get into big breakdowns of all the fights that are happening over the weekend. So off the top of my head, what have we got? All right, so we got Chisora and Parker, or should I say Parker Chisora 2, yeah? Now I've been saying from the very beginning, Joseph Parker knocks out Derek Chisora, or he stops him, or the ref calls it off, or the towel comes in. Either way, it doesn't go the distance. I've been saying this for the longest time, and before I was always going to be like, I'll tell you guys after the fight why that's my prediction and why I got the prediction right, but I might as well tell you beforehand. Now, shout out to Ash from the Discord. I'm sure he'll be watching the video, and he's pretty much the only person that has seen what I've seen previously, yeah? And he put it in the Discord because someone messaged me like, yo, like, you keep talking about something in Chisora's past or in his record that suggests that he's gonna get knocked out by Joseph Parker, but I've been looking and I can't see it. And Ash immediately responded to the guy and told him, and I've never told Ash why my prediction is how it is, but he worked it out the same as I did. So essentially, if you look at Derek Chisora's record, he's had 2 rematches in his career, and he's been knocked out in both of those rematches. Now, he's only been stopped in 3 of his fights. There was Tyson Fury, the second fight, there was the David Haye fight, and then there was the Dillian Whyte second fight. So obviously, two rematches, two knockout losses. Yeah, that's not a huge sample size to go on, but regardless of tactical breakdowns and analysis, it's enough of a sample size for it to be a pretty, I'd say a pretty conclusive or a pretty good betting odd, I would say, yeah? So essentially, he's had two rematches. In both of those rematches, he's been knocked out. In both of those rematches, he came out different, trying to almost run the show, like run through the gas tank a bit quicker than he normally would have, almost to the point where kind of is leaving himself a bit devoid of options. In the Fury one, I mean, he was ready to keep going, but he was just taking a pasting, and his corner was like, there's no point in this happening. The Whyte one, he was doing well in that fight and he was looking good, but he started getting reckless, especially after they got the points deductions, which everyone's saying like it was harsh, but at the end of the day, you throw an elbow at someone, you get a deduction. It's just what it is, like, it happens. So that happened, got reckless, was obviously running out of steam as well, and then got caught with, you know, the beautiful left hook, and we saw how he was just laid out on the canvas. Like, Usyk hurt him in their fight, round 7. Everyone remembers where he got himself slumped towards the ropes and only survived the round because the bell went. Even Parker hurt him, I think, in the 10th round of the last fight. So, like, the resistance, while he's got great recovery, that resistance is starting to chip away. And again, I'm backing my rematch curse of his more than anything else right about now. So yeah, as I said, don't really care how the fight pans out, but the prediction is Joseph Parker knocks out or stops Derek Chisora. I don't have a round, but if I was gonna get one, I would say round 9. I'm gonna predict round 9. All right, so what other fights we got? We got Lerone Richards and Carlos Gongora, or should I say Gongora versus Richards, for the IBO super middleweight championship. Lerone's a very good technical boxer, but even though he's got, I guess, enough power to keep people honest, to the point where they're not just going to be like stepping forward and like just trying to walk through all of his shots, he hasn't got enough power, I believe, to truly trouble someone that just won't be denied. Now, the only thing here that I think may work in his favor is the fact that Gongora had to fly into the UK later than anticipated due to a passport and visa issue which wasn't foreseen beforehand. So if he's having any issues maybe acclimatizing to the time zone, a little bit of jet lag, not sure, that could play a part, but he is a guy that's used to taking big fights on very short notice. So the fact he's had 15 knockouts out of 20 fights, he's had the same amount of knockouts as Lerone, which has actually had fights. To me, that is a very tricky one for Richards, who, yes, I believe he can box and you could possibly make him look awkward, but how much experience has he had with the southpaw stance? Not a huge amount. Plus he's in there with a southpaw that can punch. He's not really a great puncher, so unless he stays on the outside, managing to, I guess, you know, turn and pivot every moment, popping shots and basically not getting hit whatsoever, I can't see him surviving to a points victory. So I'm gonna give it to Gongora, and I've even got it down as a stoppage as well. I think he'll get to him, and in the firefight, I just don't think Lerone's got enough to last that. Then we got Zelfer Barrett against Bruno Torimo. Now, I don't know much about Torimo, so I'm not gonna assume anything about him, apart from I've heard that he's incredibly tough, keeps coming forward, never wants to let up on anything. But I think that might play into Zelfer's hands a little bit. One thing Zelfer does have is power. He doesn't do great against people that pressure him, as we saw again the Kiko Martinez fight. But I feel like with obviously him losing his mum earlier on in the year, plus it being in Manchester, him being the home fighter, I can't see too many situations where, unless he gets totally railroaded by Torimo or knocked out, whereby he loses this fight. So I haven't predicted how it goes, but I would say it would be a decision victory for Zelfer Barrett, and then moving forward, him and Cordina or the Kiko Martinez rematch is next on the card. Jack Cullen and Sergio. Now, I've never seen anything of Sergio, so I can't make any real concerted predictions here. But I think Sergio's supposed to be like 5'8", and Jack Cullen's like 6'3". Now that, if Cullen can keep him on the outside, then yeah, that makes it quite a comfortable night. But if Sergio gets on the inside, which I'm assuming all he's ever done is fight people that are taller than him based on the weight class that they are. Now, if he gets on the inside, that's a lot of body to target. And Cullen isn't like the best with the footwork, so it's not like he's going to be fleet of foot, being able to move out of range before the shots come thudding in. So that was definitely one that I left off the betting slip. I just don't know enough about the guy, and I can't really make a prediction with little to no opinion, and you know, sort of background on Sergio. That being said, just for the sake of you know, I guess the fact of Cullen's putting a lot of effort with the amount of tickets and whatnot, I'll wish him success and hope that he gets the victory. But yeah, I'm not really putting that one in the predictions. David Naika, he'll probably get a knockout on the undercard. Jordan Thompson, same thing. Sandy Ryan, I'm predicting to probably get a knockout as well. Like, her body mechanics, like the way that she throws her shots, they land heavy and they land often. She has very much of a Savannah Marshall type mechanic in the way that she moves, and she's got great body attack, so I predict her to probably stop her opponent as well. She's not going to be one that goes the distance too often out of the women, in my opinion, and I don't think Saturday's going to be any different. I think that's the main fights on those cards. Marie-Eve Decare from the card tonight, she's gonna get back her IBF 154 belt. Like, I've got no qualms with that. Tomorrow we got the Golden Boy. There's a Golden Boy card on, so you've got Zerdo Ramirez against Gonzalez. The winner of that becomes, I think, the mandatory for the WBA Super, which is Dimitri Bivol's title at 175. I'm gonna assume that Ramirez has got this because he pretty much handpicked his opponent from what I can remember, and essentially they're marketing him to be put into position, so I can't see Gonzalez basically beating him on his show, for lack of a better word. Marlon Esparza is fighting Annabelle Ortiz, who in her last fight got beat by Sinisa Estrada 2 weight divisions below, which was in minimum weight, and I think this one is in flyweight, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they're fighting at or light flyweight, one of the two. Marlon Esparza doesn't have a great gas tank, and she's got very little power, so I don't see Annabelle Ortiz getting stopped, but I think she will get a points victory because Golden Boy are trying to sort of line up the rematch between her and Sinisa Estrada at some point, because that's probably the biggest money fight they've got. There's a big rivalry there, that the rivalry is real, but Estrada said, you've got to come down to my weight next time. Like, I've came up to yours and beat you up there, now you got to come down to mine for the rematch. I dig it. So Esparza's gonna win. I think Estrada is on the card as well, Sinisa Estrada. I can't remember, but if she is, she will win her fight quite comfortably as well. I have no doubts in my mind on that. Right, now if we go to the Jake Paul and Tyrone Woodley card, which should have been Tommy Fury, but you know, he shit himself. Typical Fury move, to be fair, but it is what it is. There's only 2 fights anyone's really going to talk about. So you got Amanda Serrano against Merriam Gutierrez up at 135. Obviously, to get acclimatized to being back at the weight, being able to function and move, so she can potentially face Katie Taylor in the spring. I'm not sure if that fight's going to take place, just like last time, but Amanda will beat Gutierrez, and she will beat her on points. Gutierrez is fairly tough. I mean, she doesn't really get stopped all that often, and just being a naturally bigger person, I feel that she'll be able to go the full 10 rounds quite comfortably. It might even be an 8-rounder, since there's no titles on the line. I actually have to double check that, but yeah, I mean, the narrative is there. Serrano has to win for the Katie Taylor fight to take place, so I don't see them allowing anything to change that narrative and change that trajectory. I just want to check on BoxRec right quick. It should tell me if it was an 8 or a 10 rounder coming up. Let's see. Oh, no, it is a 10 rounder. Yeah. Okay, cool. 10 times 2, no problem with that. And yeah, I was saying Gutierrez, that doesn't get stopped. I mean, in the amateurs, I think there was a couple, like 2 or 3. But yeah, as a pro, like, she only lost 1 fight anyway to Katie Taylor. She hasn't been stopped. Now, Serrano, pound for pound, does hit a lot harder than Katie Taylor, but she doesn't get bigger girls out of there. Especially like ones that are actually competitive. Like when it comes to the tomato cans that she fights, yeah, like they drop quite quickly and quite easily. But I don't see Gutierrez getting stopped, to be honest. So yeah, I will. I'm gonna say Amanda Serrano on points with that one. And finally, you got Jake Paul and Tyrone Woodley. Now with this one, I feel like Tyrone probably had more chance to win the original. In this one, obviously, he's a little bit older now. Even though he said he's been in shape, he's been training, he's still like a last-minute opponent. I don't really think that if Jake Paul was that worried about what Tyrone can bring after that first fight, he would call him in at last minute to fight again on the card. So something tells me that my Capricorn compatriot is going to get the win, and there could even be a stoppage of some sort. Don't know about a full-blown knockout, but I don't know. There's just something there which tells me that there's a reason you've chosen this guy for the second time, because you could have picked any soft touch opponent after Tommy Fury dropped out if you really wanted to, but you picked Tyrone for a second time, so you must feel like you've got the beating of him anyway. I reckon if he does win this one, it will be a lot more conclusive than the first one. I think Tyrone might actually let his hands go a bit more than he did last time, which might impact on his gas tank, because in the first one he didn't really throw a lot because he was concerned about, you know, how he would hold up within the rounds, which is the same thing he was doing towards the end of his MMA career. So there'll definitely be some sticky moments, and I think it might even be a more entertaining fight than the first one. But I'm gonna give this one to Jake Paul. I think he will win. And yeah, that's pretty much my predictions on the weekend. I know Rene Alvarado is fighting, but I can't remember the guy he's fighting on the Golden Boy card. Him and his brother, they're always good value to watch. I really love watching them too. But I think it's only Rene that's fighting on this one. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna see how many of these I get right. Hopefully, if my bet pays off, then and get all of them right, then I'll be smiling very much come Sunday afternoon. But yeah, for now, we're gonna leave it there. And as always, basis picks locked in. Till next time.